Our producer built a great show today. She got a blueprint. Meet him. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Atlantic Eye, Laser Eye Center on Highway 17 bypass south in Murrells Inlet, about a quarter mile south of Inlet Square Mall. We're focused on the Blueprint Leadership Academy, and we're visiting with its president and founder, Ervin Blueprint Parker. Good morning.
Thanks for having me. Good morning to you too.
Thanks so much for coming in early on Friday the 29th.
I'm looking forward to it.
How often do we say that, February 29th?
About every 4 years.
Exactly. Pretty exciting. And, of course, your program is kicked off so strong.
Yeah, I'm excited about what's going on. Had a big meeting yesterday, last week with the superintendent of Georgetown School District.
Right.
And Dr. Pringle and Dr. Dozier. And then I'm on the calendar to meet with Dr. Jim Rex, which is the superintendent of the state.
Of South Carolina schools. Wow.
Yes. I'm trying to get this program in all schools throughout the states. I just think it is needed. You know, when you're dealing with young men and young ladies, with one of the big things that's going on in our country right now is we need what you call an attitude adjustment.
Right.
And that's one of the things we focus on.
What prompted you to go ahead and kick this off, Blueprint? I mean, what was it about the school systems today? I know that attitude adjustment's needed, but at the same time, how did you really know? How did you get in there enough to know?
Well, you know, when I came home in 2001, and we kicked off the Blueprint Leadership Academy in 2002, and it was a vision that I had, and we used to be out at the old Choppy High School,
right?
And which is where I went to school. But after having the program out there for several years, and going to different schools, doing motivational presentation, I saw that what was lacking in the school system was more motivation, developing one's attitude toward a positive look in life, and setting goals, day-to-day goals.
Right.
And like I told these young men and young ladies, the biggest investment you're going to make in your life is in your education. So when you realize that the school was not teaching certain things, then we basically just took our program and downscaled it and turned it into a life skill workbook.
Right.
And,
absolutely. You've got a DVD there as well.
A motivational DVD, which is about 4 minutes and 45 seconds. And we teach things that the school don't teach. You know, last week I did a program over at Forest Brook Middle, and the program
That's right, last Friday, which I heard was a huge success.
Yes, it was. I mean, you know, I work with, I think they have almost 1,000 kids over there.
Right.
And work with all of the 6th graders at 10:30, and at 11:30 work with all the 7th graders, and that evening, after we all had lunch, work with all of the 8th graders at 1:30.
Is that right?
Yeah. And
can you feel a connection to the kids when you're with them?
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing once you get in there. And I think one of the things that happens with our life skill program is basically we introduce our 10 principles toward trying to be successful.
I saw that in the workbook. Yeah.
Exactly. And so what we do with that is we take 5 young ladies and 5 young men, and we give each one of them one of those topics to discuss. And I interact with them as they discuss that topic. But basically, when you're dealing with like the 6th graders, sometimes we even take it a little further, and we have what you call, once young men and young ladies getting ready for the state pack test, we call it a pack attack. You know, and we have the 6th graders challenging the 7th graders, and the 7th graders challenging the 8th graders. And we've took it and turned it to fun. You know, like you have football rallies, why not have educational rallies?
Good for you.
What's bigger than education? So we've done that several times, and I'm looking forward to getting our books throughout the state, and also in after-school church programs, YMCAs. Anybody that's watching this show and want to know more about it, you know, of course they can check out our website. But our books are available, and you know we try to make it affordable. And one of the things that we look for is for grants and sponsors to sponsor different areas and to sponsor different programs. And then that way we can just go in and find out how many books they need, how many motivational DVD tape they need, and they can go forward with it.
You highlighted the website, and even you've got a phone number for viewers who need to get off to work now or get family off to school. What's the best phone number and even the website there?
843-545-8861. That's at the Blueprint Leadership Academy.
Good.
And if someone don't answer, it'll be an answer machine. Leave your information. We'll get back to you.
Right.
And you can view our website. It's www.blueprint blueprintleadership.org.
Okay, blueprintleadership.org and 843-545-8861.
Right.
Even though right now you're is it principal focus on Horry and Georgetown County, or is it principal in Georgetown now? Obviously, the opportunity to meet with Dr. Rex is a pretty big deal. You got to start somewhere.
I had a meeting with Dr. Rex last year, and told him what I was working on, and gave him a copy of this is our second book.
Right.
Gave him a copy of our first book. And I said, look, we got a new book that's coming out now. This new book is going to be a lot different.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think that helps our program, and because the young men and young ladies, we put them in groups.
Right.
And we put them in groups that young men and young ladies don't normally work together. Like normally you got a little niche of young men and young ladies that hang out together. Yeah. We divide them up and put them with some people that they don't normally hang out with.
I love
and
it.
Then what we do with that group is we call what you call holding each person accountable. Everybody in that group got to hold each other accountable. So then when they come back, they got to discuss that in the classroom as a group. So it teaches you not only to help motivate yourself, but you're working in a group.
Right.
And we all know some of the biggest sports in the world is team play. And I think that if you could work with a young man or young lady on their attitude, self-esteem, self-determination, day-to-day goals, accountability, and those type of things that one of the things that I think that a lot of kids lacking is self-love.
Self-love.
That's one of the things that we stress in our book. Self-love, it is your decision on where you want to go in life. You could want your son or daughter to be successful, to be maybe an eye surgeon, a professional broadcaster, a host, but it all depends on what they really want.
What they really want.
The big thing that I try to stress for these young men and young ladies is the sooner you realize. And I have a son that's 15, and I told him years ago, and it's clicking in. Because the sooner you realize the things that you do in life is going to really affect you,
right,
the better off you're going to be.
The better you're going to be, that's right.
The sooner you realize that things in your life are going to change. And just the association, the people you hang out with, you can't relive your time. That's why it's just like with a relationship or a business. Time management is so important. You can't relive your time. So I tell these young men and young ladies, you want to utilize your time. I mean, the people you hang out with, you want friends that are holding you accountable, not just going along with what you say. Because a lot of people, they say, oh, whatever I say goes. No, it doesn't work like that. And I've spent a lot of time in different states. I did quite a few events. I was down in Texas at the Henry Wade Juvenile Detention Center.
Right. And
that was an experience for me because I never spent a whole day at a detention center with you talking about young men and young ladies from all different nationalities, from 11 years of age to 17. They're in this detention center, and they, basically it's like a little prison. And that was an experience for me. I was down there actually visit the T.D. Jake Church, and he started the Clay Academy, which we're trying to get our life skill book in the Clay Academy.
Right.
So my thing is, I tell anybody that, look, this is not my program. I'm the founder and the president, but if you've got a young man or a young lady in your community, reach out to them. And if you could afford to, we're a nonprofit. We have nobody that works for Blueprint Leadership Academy, including me, get no salaries. Thank God I don't need a salary from Blueprint Leadership Academy because we put the money into the motivational DVD tapes and the books. And, the people that worked with me in the past, we had like 16, 17 employees when we were at the old Choppy School. But now, that was good for that time. But now what we want to get these books out.
Right. Really streamlined it to focus on the books, and the workbooks are wonderful. Really true principles to success.
Oh, yeah.
But how you connect with kids, of course, a lot of folks want to know why. What prompted Blueprint to do this? But real quick about yourself, for viewers who may not be totally familiar with your tremendous NFL career, as well as in promotions and otherwise helping folks get their name out, a little before that, yourself. You're originally from Georgetown County?
I was born and raised in Georgetown County, out of Choppy, and I live out there on Black River. And my mom is 81. She lives with me. I'm single. I have a son that's 15. He lives on the West Coast, actually. And he was living with me, but he said it was too rural out there for him. So
too many rules out here. Yeah.
They didn't have no Pizza Hut and McDonald's.
Oh,
so
yeah. Too rural, absolutely.
Yeah, so he wanted to go back, so that was fine. At least he was able to come here and spend some quality time.
Good.
But I was very blessed. I went to South Carolina State where I got my college degree in industrial engineering.
I saw that,
and was very blessed to get drafted by the Buffalo Bills.
Right.
And went on from Buffalo to San Diego. And then from San Diego, I ended up with the Seattle Seahawks with my old coach Chuck Knox again. And then I went on and played up in Canada, actually, with the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Is that
That
right?
was quite an experience. I was up there for about almost 2 months. It was an experience, because Hamilton is real close to Buffalo, New York.
Right, sure.
So a lot of the people knew me from when I played in Buffalo. But, one of the reasons I started this foundation was actually, at the time, I was a sports agent. Me and my partner owned a company called Athlete Career Management.
Right.
And I thought that was something that I was called to do, and we built that company. And after 4 years, I sold it to my partner, and I said, I don't want to babysit these millionaires.
Right.
Because basically that's when you're a sports agent. It's kind of like what you do is you're babysitting and negotiating, and that wasn't for me. So I sold the company to my partner. My partner actually was Cameron Truesdale, who started long-term care with American Express.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went on and basically was trying to find myself and what, everybody has certain things in life that God wants you to do. And, I pretty much gave my life to God, and He changed some things. I started going to these retreats and with different men and getting away and fine-tuning on me. And that's when He started giving me this vision about Blueprint Leadership Academy. And at the time, to be honest with you, I never thought I'd be coming back to the rural community to live.
Yeah,
Because if you'd have told me I was going to be moving back to the rural, choppy community to live, being a single guy, I said, no way, I'm coming back down there to live, not full-time. But, it's been beautiful. I mean, it's been beautiful. And
surely your mother's thrilled to have you back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have
down here?
7 sisters.
Oh, come on.
7 sisters and 1 brother. And I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest.
And I'm the
of
only
9.
person single.
Wow. Yeah. So you've got nieces and nephews, all over Georgetown County?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I have, I have nieces in Charleston, and been really blessed. My family, when I look at my nieces and my family members, we got some doctors, some lawyers, some school teachers, some engineers.
Right.
We got some of everything. We got chefs. And so when I look at my family and my mom and dad, the legacy that they have left behind is my dad left behind. He's deceased now, but I'm just so proud of him because we, everybody just love each other and we support each other, and I go out to Kentucky in the summertime for a camp that my son goes to, and I get some dental work done. My sister owns a dental practice out there, so I go get a couple of free dental work done and take her out to dinner, do a trade out.
I love it. I love it. That's a legitimate trade. Yeah.
That's but I just feel real blessed for what I've been able to be a part of, and
your parents' biggest legacy, not to cut you off, Blueprint, was it really focusing on education? It sounds like your parents really were focused on education.
Exactly, because see, my mom and dad did not get a chance to get an education. Because when they were growing up, they had to go work. Mm-hmm. So if the tobacco truck came or the cotton truck came before it was time for you to go to school, then you had to go on the tobacco truck or the cotton truck.
Right.
So, it wasn't like you had an option. During those days, it was like, you got to go to work. So my dad, he worked at the International Paper Company, but he never graduated from high school. My mom, the education that she was able to get, and then when I got in college, actually, I hired this lady that was a good friend of mine to help tutor my mom.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. To help tutor my mom.
You were in college. You were at South Carolina State.
I was in college.
You hired somebody to come work with your mother in Georgetown County?
Yeah,
in
out of Choppy, because...
wow.
Yeah, my mom was pretty much, illiterate. She never got a chance to go to school. So we worked on that, and the whole time I was in college, my dad had died right before I went to college. And I was in college for 4 years, but I never cashed my Social Security check. I gave it to my mom every month. Thank God. Yeah, and... so it was basically something that I was very proud of. Now my mom, she is amazing because she's 82 in April of this year, and she's got all these numbers in her head. You ask her for somebody's number and she's got it. She writes it. Oh yeah.
At 82 or in 81, soon to be
82 in April, but she is just an amazing person. Matter of fact, I just talked to her because she was down in Hilton Head. She was down in Tampa with my older sister.
Right.
So she's been on vacation for 2 weeks. And I was talking to her earlier today, but she's just an amazing person.
Are all 8 of your brothers and sisters still living, Blueprint?
All of my sisters are living, except one of my sisters died at a young age. She had an aneurysm. and in the early 70s. Other than that,
But your mother had birthed 9 children. You were
actually had 10. She had a miscarriage. She
Oh,
had
right.
10. So it
Wow.
was 3 boys and 7 girls.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and from age 60, I think the oldest is my sister Julie. She's 64, and comes on down to me. I'm 49.
Is that right? Well, you have really kept your youth to think about all this. It was amazing to see that back almost 20 years ago, you'd been instrumental, and that was, I guess, prior to forming ACM, before forming that group, had helped to promote the first professional football game in Hong Kong in 1989. That must have been exciting.
That was an experience. Actually, a gentleman came to me, Mr. Randy Jackaway, and I'd never met a black Jew before, and I live in Seattle. And this guy calls me up, and he's talking to me on the phone, and I mean, he's got this voice. And when I met him in person, I went to this restaurant where we was going to meet, and I walked in, and he was sitting there waiting on me, and he says, "Mr. Parker." I says, "Yeah, I'm Mr. Parker." He said, "I'm Randy Jackaway."
Oh, wow.
And I looked at him. I said, "You Randy Jackaway?" He
Yeah.
said, "Well, I know you never saw a black Jew before, huh?" But anyway, it was quite an experience. I had a company at the time. It was a promotion company, and they hired my service to promote the first football game I played in Hong Kong.
Unbelievable.
And that was an
It's been
experience.
exciting.
And we took the San Jose Bandits, which was a team from San Jose, California.
Right.
And we took the Southside Warhawks, which was a semi-pro team from Seattle.
Right.
And I was able to put that together. It's amazing. I was able to put that together in like less than 3 days.
No, come on.
I'm serious. I'm
No, Blueprint.
Well,
is that how you got the nickname Blueprint?
No,
you
I
could just
got-
lay out stuff like that?
Actually, I got that name in college, but my college coach James Carson, he used to be defensive coordinator at South Carolina State.
Right.
He gave me that name back in 1976.
And it was because you were just good
I
with
was
laying
hitting-
things out?
No, I was hitting people. Well, see what happened when I got to South Carolina State. I had several other scholarships.
Right.
So I'd never visit South Carolina State. Actually, I nothing against South Carolina State, but I just said I was too good to go to South Carolina State. I was going probably the University of Pittsburgh. I had scholarship to Georgia and Clemson, University of South Carolina. I had quite a few scholarships.
And you ultimately went there because...
Well, I went there. What happened when my dad died? South Carolina State just kind of loved up on me. I mean, they were there at the roughest time of my life.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've lost a mom or dad, and I mean, hey, here I was 17 years old. My dad had a massive heart attack and died. And all these other schools, they respond, but South Carolina State coach Bill Davis was the head recruiter, and he kind of like almost moved to Georgetown out of Chappie. I mean, he was there for me, and then the team sent me big flowers with a card with all of the signature of all the players that I never met.
Wow.
And those things just meant a lot to me, and so after my dad's death, the funeral rather, I sat down with my sisters and brothers, and I said, "Hey," I says, "what do you guys think?" I said, "I think I'm going to go to South Carolina State." And they said, "Wherever you want to go," because I'm telling you, South Carolina State was very supportive during this whole, my dad's death.
Right,
and,
right.
I ended up going to South Carolina State, but then when I got there, this was the thing. I'm sitting there with my mom and my sister Eliza, and I'm over at Coach Jeffrey's office, which is the head coach at the time, and they're telling me that they're going to redshirt me. And I says, Coach, look, I can't be here for 5 years.
Yeah.
He said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Everybody stays here 5 years." I said, "Not me." I said, "I got to be out of here in 4 years, in 3 summers maybe, but I got to be out of here on a job because I'm getting a Social Security check and it's going to cut off after I turn, after you go past 21.
Right.
I said, "So I'm not going to be here 5 years."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, I can tell you right now, we're going to redshirt you because you're already late, and right now you're like number 89 on the depth chart." I said, "Well, Coach, I don't think I'm going to be able to sign this letter of commitment to go to school here." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I got other opportunities, and they're going to give me opportunity to play."
Right.
Now.
Now.
He says, he said, "Well, Ervin," he said, "I can tell you right now, there's no way in the world you're going to be able to make our 53-man roster." He says, "You're already late." He says, "We got nothing but juniors and seniors starting. A few sophomores play here and there." He says, "We got one freshman that's going to play a little bit, and he's a kicker. His name is Malcolm Montgomery." He says, "Now you telling me that you're going to come here late and you're still going to make this traveling roster of 53 men?" He said, "I don't think so." He said, "Everybody we recruit here is blue chips." I says, "Coach, well, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to play at South Carolina State, but I'll be going on down the road. He says, so you leaving? I says, yeah. I says, I could play this year. All I'm asking you for is an opportunity to play.
Right, right.
And he said to me, I said, you're a man of character, and I know you're a man of your word. All I ask you to do, I don't want you to give me nothing. Just give me an opportunity to show you that I can play. He said, well, we know you can play, but as far as making the roster, he says, I just don't see that happening. So anyway, I said, I'm getting up. Me and my mom and my sister, we getting ready to leave. He says, you serious? I said, yes. I said, Coach, I'm not going to be here 5 years.
Yeah.
I can't be here 5 years. I'm going to graduate in 4 years and a couple of summers, so I can't be here 5 years.
Right.
So he said, I tell you what, I'll give you the opportunity to show you. Give you the opportunity to show if you can play. He said, but I can tell you right now, they're going to redshirt you. I said, well, Coach, if you redshirt me, then you're taking away my rights. But if I redshirt myself, I can live with that.
Right.
So he says, okay.
Wow,
So-
you're saying all this at 17, 18?
Yeah, well, I was almost 18.
Blueprint.
I was turning
Yeah.
18 that August.
Well, that's a grunt.
And-
You're a big guy talking. Yeah.
Well, my dad had raised me,
Yeah.
believe in yourself. He said,
Yeah.
if you don't believe in yourself, why should somebody else?
Right.
So anyway, I went to the dorm and got checked in, and he said, you're going down to the stadium, and went down and took my little physical, and in 9 days, I went from the shot team to competing for a starting position.
Wow.
9 days. But 9 days is 2-a-day practice. So that's like 18 practice,
Yeah.
in 9 days. So I was hitting people. I was hitting everything moving. And that's when this coach James Carson, he came over to me. He says, I want you to come to my house tomorrow night for dinner. And I said, where do you live? He said, you find out between now and tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. And I went over to his house, and I had dinner with him and his son and his wife. And I was there early, real early.
Right.
And I'm sitting at the table, and I'm thinking that he's going to tell me, we're going to redshirt you.
Right.
And I can't eat. I can't eat. My stomach
Oh,
is all
yeah.
tight. I'm sitting at the table, and his wife says to me, she says, Ervin, is there something wrong with the food? I said, no, Miss Carson. I said, I'm real hungry, but I just can't eat. I said, Coach, I said, I need you to tell me what's going on. I said, I need to know. He said, and so his little boy says, he had a son that was about 3, a little over 3. He said, my dad got a name for you, Bluefist,
Oh, yeah, real young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, what? He says, well, I was talking to Coach Jeffrey and all the other coaches, and he says, when we look at all our coaching experience, man, we've been coaching almost 100 years, with all these, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, running back coach.
Right.
He said, man, we had never seen nobody that's hitting people like you hitting them, except maybe Harry Carson. He said, man, you take the pitch man on the option and the quarterback. He said, you've been sending people to the trainer left and right. He said, you would crack one guy's helmet. He said, I got a name for you. He said, I hope you don't take it personal. I want to call you Blueprint. And that's when he gave me that name in August of 1976.
Wow.
And the rest of it is history. I ended up making he says, so I said, Coach, well, tell me, am I going to make the traveling roster? He says, make the traveling roster? I'm like, oh, God. He says, you're starting.
No.
You're
said
starting
it
at
right
defensive
then.
end.
So you started eating then?
I couldn't eat.
Oh, no. You still couldn't eat. Wow.
I was so excited. I jumped. I said, I'm starting? He says, we ain't seen nobody play the option like you except Harry Carson, and he's playing with the Giants now as a middle linebacker.
Right.
He says, you starting unless you do something different, then, then you ain't going to be starting.
That is.
I said, I'm starting. He says, you're not playing linebacker, but you're playing defensive end.
As a
and I'm a
freshman coming in on out of the gate. That's incredible.
I went from number 89 on the depth chart to the starting left defensive end.
Wow.
And I played whatever side that the tight end was not on. And the rest of it is history.
That's amazing.
And I went and I started at defensive end for 2 years. And I made honorable mention at defensive end, my honorable mention All-American my sophomore year. And then I moved to outside linebacker where I made All-American. Then I moved to middle linebacker where I made All-American.
Wow.
So I think that I'm probably the only person that ever played 3 positions that made All-American at 2 and honorable All-American at 3rd.
We're going to have to check that out and then get back to you. I mean, we've run out of time. I am embarrassed. 25 minutes has blown by. And to think, of course, South Carolina State brought you into their Athletic Hall of Fame.
Yes.
To highlight that just a couple of years ago. And, of course, the real excitement for you now, and we do need to get you back because there's a lot more to the Blueprint Leadership Academy, the 10 principles, clearly the DVD you did, and the interaction between kids even hearing you talk about the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders last Friday at Forest Brook Middle School is an incredible treat.
I'm looking forward to working with Eileen. She's just a wonderful person. Forest Brooks and the principals over there and the staff.
They were great last week,
especially
I'm sure.
the kids.
Absolutely.
We have an ongoing relationship with them.
Blueprint, thanks so much. We'll
thanks for having
get you back another time. Absolutely.
And again, don't forget, if you can help out Blueprint Leadership Academy, we're a non-profit.
BlueprintLeadership.org. Yeah.
Give us a call or either check our website out.
Very definitely. We'll do that, and hopefully our viewers will as well. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Blueprint Parker coming up next. Don't forget at 843-545-8861, 545-8861, or BlueprintLeadership.org. BlueprintLeadership.org. You think how impressive it is, obviously, to be drafted by the Buffalo Bills, to later play for the San Diego Chargers, the Seattle Seahawks. That all sounds impressive. The real impressive thing is think back to those early days there at South Carolina State. The excitement for a guy who really needs to make it, who recognizes that, who shares that with the coach, and the coach giving him a chance. But what the real exciting thing was that opportunity of a son to recognize the need for his mother to get a little extra education, having committed her life early on to providing for her own family, and then later for providing for her 9 children. But think about that. Blueprint here steps out to have enough money to be able to provide an education to his own mother, now providing a different kind of education to children, not only in Horry and Georgetown counties or Georgetown and Horry counties, but now the opportunity to spread out all over the state of South Carolina and well beyond. Take the time to learn about the Blueprint Leadership Academy and Blueprint himself. Go online to BlueprintLeadership.org or pick up the phone, 843-545-8861. Blueprint, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me, Greg.